thank you to both of you for sharing your stories. I know it's not easy to come up here and share this, so really appreciate your candor. I'm going to do this in the hopes that this time it will be different. Are there any questions in the audience first before I start asking questions? Prove me wrong, come on. Well, then let me get started. Marlene, you mentioned it here, and you mentioned it when you and I spoke as well. And that one of the things that stayed with me was it was horrifying to hear that when you got the diagnosis, the physician probably meant well. I'm going to try to give them the benefit of the doubt here. She meant well and was super busy. Again, you can see I'm trying really hard, but I found it horrifying that you were told, just Google it, What advice, I guess, that's kind of what made me started thinking about it. What advice would you give to families who are just getting a really hard diagnosis? This is the first time. They don't know what's going on, and often that's the challenge. And now you get a diagnosis.
Advice. You really can't give somebody advice about when their whole world kind of crumbles around them, or you kind of feel like the floor has opened up and you're falling through. So there is no advice. What there is hope. There is an education. Try to help others. When you get a diagnosis, just know that it's not who you are. It doesn't define who you are. It means it's your superpower. I like to tell that to my daughter all the time. But you also have to be realistic, and you have to fight. We don't have the luxury of silence. We don't have the luxury of shyness. We don't have the luxury of being meek. Mm-hmm. Although the meek will inherit the earth, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Hang on to the mic. And Ashlin, one of the things that's really kind of struck us here at Rocket is just how, just within your family, how many folks are affected by Danon disease. Can you share just one, how did it all get started in terms of how everyone got diagnosed? And then how do you support one another? Because there is this commonality now.
Yeah. So when my brother, he is 47 now. He's the oldest living male patient with Danon disease, actually, and he's bedridden. But he's still here. He still has a heartbeat, and he didn't get diagnosed. He was the first one after his transplant to get diagnosed, but it wasn't until I was 13 when all of my siblings, we all went and got all tested, and my mom got tested, and all found out relatively around the same time that we had this. 4 of us had it. I remember wanting to be the one that didn't. I was like, yeah, I could be, but I wasn't. And so I have 3 sisters, 2 sisters who have it, me, my mom. 4 of my uncles have passed away from it, but that was a long time ago. My aunts, my uncles, so they all have been tested at the University of Colorado hospital. And I guess it running so thick in my family, it's been the same thing, like a blessing. And it is different the way we're all affected, but at this core of it, we know it is a very lonely disease. Rare diseases in general feel very lonely, but especially when you literally can't do anything because you have so much chest pain. And when I can call my sister or text my nephew or call my aunt or talk to my mom, I watched her go through so much before I went through all of it. It was like a preview of what I could, so I knew I had the strength to go through what she went through. So yeah, that's how I've done it.
Thank you.